beginning with the practical and physical reasons, ordinary reality. It is known that around 50,000 BC, maybe 45,000 around then, there was a great leap forward, also called the Upper Paleolithic Revolution, in which we see a sudden advancement in Homo sapiens' cognitive ability. Before this time, we don't see them that distinguished or differentiated from Neanderthal. There's no real evidence of art before this time, or beaded clothing, stuff like that, which really seems to speak towards a shift in the mindset, a cognitive advancement, so to speak. And what we do know is that this parietal art, one of the earliest sites, is at Chauveau, and that was dated at 45,000 BC. And we see that there's very sophisticated art there. There might be older sites that we have not found, but at least 45,000 BC, we had Homo sapiens creating artwork that suggests they had symbolic thinking. There is some sort of motivation behind their actions besides simply survival day to day. And then we find that this artwork style and some conventions, such as there are no humans, a strong emphasis on outline, which I forgot to mention is one of their stylistic similarities. They're all the different sites have a strong emphasis on outline. All these similarities last well into 17,000 BCE and even beyond that. We find these cave sites from 35,000 and 17,000, Chauveau and Lascaux, to be very, very similar in their aesthetics and their conventions, such as subject matter, etc. So it seems that there was some sort of cognitive advancement that happened in 45,000, and it could simply be that with this cognitive advancement, which some people think might be the birth of language, there was a new appreciation of things such as aesthetics and beauty, and this is where the art for art's sake kind of theory evolves from. Art for art's sake says that there's no real profound reason that the Paleolithic man created these images, but that rather did it for entertainment or boredom, or just to do it because that's something that humans innately have a drive to do, is to express their world in a beautiful way. But there's some problems with this theory because certain things like the lack of humans seems to suggest that if it was just for fun, they would draw some humans, and the subject matter and the style is very similar, and if it was some sort of creative exploration freely like this, then you'd think you'd find all sorts of different stuff, more experimentation in the style. And also, why would you go deep into dark caves where no one will ever see your art if your art is meant for beauty and you want that to be appreciated? So there are some holes in that theory. Another interesting theory that has practice based in practical, pragmatic reasons is a totemic theory, in that these animals were stood for different clans or tribes of Upper Paleolithic Cro-Magnon man. And so there's some what supports this theory is that often animals will be grouped together, like the halls of the bulls, or there's a motif that has lions, multiple lions, and we see this very frequently, so perhaps certain parts of the caves belong to different tribes. This is also a very interesting theory. It could be very possible, but then it also stands to wonder about why humans weren't depicted. I mean, there wasn't a human clan, but does that mean you cannot put humans anywhere? It seems to speak towards some sort of superstition. And a few humans are, not even real humans or per se. And also, why would they go so deep in caves? Would they really crawl in there, the whole clan? Perhaps there was an initiation ceremony, that they weren't marking out a territory to live in with women and children, but that men would come there, or women, or because actually a lot of the hands are small, so it's theorized that women might have created them. So they come in there to do some sort of ritual, perhaps to be initiated as a warrior or a healer or something. Who knows? Another theory that's very interesting is that it acted as a sort of graveyard for Upper Paleolithic people, who, until the Neolithic Revolution, where they began to use agriculture to develop agriculture and a more sedentary lifestyle, when a loved one or a clan member passed away, they would have to just leave them where they died, and if they were anything like we are today, they probably had some, emotional connection and stuff to the person and would want to honor them and remember them. And the theory is that these caves were places where they could honor their memory by painting, painting an image. If they were from the deer clan, they paint a deer. If they were from the bear clan, they could paint a bear, and it would be preserved century after century, millennia after millennium, even to this day. So this is a very interesting theory, and it would explain why they went so deep into caves, so it would be preserved, so the spirit would be at peace and, darkness undisturbed. The one kind of nagging hole in this theory is that a lot of these places, the animals are painted over. Even when there was space nearby to paint, empty space, there would be layers upon layers of animals painted over each other, and this would seem to be a mark of disrespect, as if like to defile a gravestone or go into a graveyard and defile the memory of a person. And is no definitive conclusions can be drawn, but it's an interesting point to consider. And then we also notice that another thing that speaks towards the validity of that theory is that when the Neolithic Revolution happened and they became sedentary, we see that this parietal art, we don't find it anymore. So it seems that the need, or whatever that parietal art was being used for, the why was it created, became moot or unimportant after they settled down and began an agricultural lifestyle. Moving on to the metaphysical and non-ordinary reality theories. These are interesting, and they've been proposed by a number of people, and it seems to be that the general consensus is actually more on the metaphysical and non-ordinary reality theories rather than the pragmatic ones. And